Hi, welcome to live stream yoga with Louise. Tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today we are cooking up some delicious legs. Think strong, think shapely. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set up for today's class in a 4-point kneeling frame. Make your way down onto all fours, hands stacking underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Give me a nice long line through the spine. We're going to begin today's class with some cat-cow Chakravatasana. Take a big breath in, hollowing out your back, stretching into the lower belly as you take the bum bones and the chin to the sky. Then on an active exhale, change the frame. Hollow out your belly, round out your back. Think of a nice hollow shape to the belly as you find your cat. And then begin to move dynamically between the two frames. And you can play it up today. You can either play at a 1-to-2 inhalation to exhalation ratio, or if you prefer, you can work at a 1-to-1 inhalation to exhalation. So find your flow. Pressing softly off the tops of your feet as you play in your cat-cow. Maybe starting to look for that breath connection as we play. Then end in a neutral spine position, somewhere between your cat and your cow. Push back into an extended child, keeping the tops of your feet relaxed as you push back, bum to heels, arms long and extended, maybe really pushing off the palms and trying to sink your bum as close to your heels as you can, while maybe tapping your forehead to the floor. Then think of temporarily returning to 4-point kneeling, tucking your toes under and push back again, this time maybe coming onto the tips of your fingers and bringing your palms up off the floor. Little of a modified toe breaker stretch, and then start to move dynamically between your original child, feet nice and flat, pressing down through the palms of your hands as you push back. Come back to 4-point kneeling, tuck your toes under, and then push back, bum to heel, bringing your palms off the mat and pushing off all 10 digits. Give yourself a few oscillations between the two frames. Once again, looking for that breath connection as you play between the two frames. And just set up a soft, recurring pace of your own. Moving with your breath, always keep that breath flowing. Maybe ending in the toe tucked under position. Come back to 4-point kneeling. Those toes are still tucked under. Keeping that almost brace position on the feet, you're going to extend the left leg behind you. So as if you were using the whole sole of your foot to push the wall away and try to keep that leg at about hip height. At the same time, float the opposite arm up. So the right arm starting to float up, but keep a brace in the hand as if you were pushing away the wall in front of you. So you've got fingertips up, foot braced. Reach through the heel of your palm and the heel of your foot. Then start to soften your toe line and your fingertip line as if you were reaching with the big toe and the tips of your fingers for the walls on either sides of the room. Keep a long line through the neck and the spine and the leg and the arm. Float back to 4-point kneeling, tuck the toes under, find a down dog, and then begin to play with a soft knee tap to the floor and the down dog. So you're oscillating between the two frames using your breath. Exhale for the down dog. Inhale as you come into table. And then every time you find that down dog frame, just try to bring your heels systematically closer to the floor. Keeping belly to spine the whole time. End in the down dog frame and hold the stretch. Trying to anchor through the feet as best you can. So you can readjust your hand and your foot position if you needed to get maximum stretch of the back chain of your legs. Keep the bum piped up nice and high and keep your belly button pulled in to center. From this down dog frame, we are going to find our way into a warrior one, leading with the right leg in front. So soften the right knee, step up to the inside of the right hand. You're going to bring that back foot in to about a 45-degree angle, and you're going to float the hands overhead so that it feels like you're framing the ears on either side. You can wiggle walk your lead leg out as you come into position. Try to keep that back leg angled in so that both of your hip bones are looking towards the top end of the mat. Keep reaching along through your fingertips. Start to find that strength through the legs as you hold Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Breathe. Then think about how you're going to use this frame to come to a Warrior 3, sweeping the hands behind you. Start to drop the hands, start to push off the back leg. You can use a little stutter on the mat if you need to. Floating the hands behind you, bringing that back leg into a tabletop line, trying to square up as best you can through the shoulders, through the hips. So try not to pop and rotate on your left hip as you find Warrior 3, Virabhadrasana 3. We're going to find our way into a fisted tree line from here, but keep your tree small. So start to stand up tall, bring that back leg in, maybe big toe to the floor, or maybe just a little bit higher up below your knee line as you set up a tree. Vrksasana. Fist both hands behind your back, making your knuckles heavy to the floor, starting to look almost from lengthening in the trunk. And keep your eyes trained on a focal point or a drishti on the wall in front of you. Think of the two shoulder blades peeling together behind your back. Think of the chest opening up generously. Look for stillness, look for control. That right ankle and leg might begin speaking to you. We're going to find our way into an open triangle from here. So step back into your original Warrior 1-like stance, angling that back foot in at 45. Drop the lead hand to the inseam of the lead leg. Or maybe you can tap to the floor, or maybe put palm to floor. And then open up the top arm as well and try to forge an almost T-like frame with the arms. Hold your open triangle, Uttita Trikonasana, looking to draw up the energy from the kneecaps along the quad line of both legs. So you're keeping both legs active and you're firmly grounding through both feet. Then bring the top arm closer to your ear. Give me an extended triangle. This will be your position 2 for your triangle. Trying to get a nice stretch from the left hip bone through the line of the ribs and the arm. Then trace half a circle with the arm so that the fingertips are looking to the wall behind you. That will be position 3. Now begin to oscillate dynamically between your 3 points, tracing a big, sweeping, lazy circle with the arms while holding the rest of your triangle stable, and you keep drawing up that energy along the quads of both legs. Stay here with your lazy circle or start to rotate through the trunk and try to bring that hand to the outside of the lead leg, starting to rotate so that you're looking towards your lead leg. Maybe you're holding onto the shin, maybe you've got your fingertips on the floor on the outside of your lead leg, or maybe you'd like to use a block on the outside of the leg so that you can rest your hand into that block. Find a little rotation through the trunk if you can. Parivarta Trikonasana. And then think about how you're going to use this rotated frame to find your way into a rotated half moon. Place your left fingertips on the floor, maybe just in front of you. Start to push off the back leg, floating up into maybe a tabletop line and trying to keep that soft rotation through the trunk as you find a modified Ardha Chandrasana half moon. We're going to step back from here into a warrior two. So bend the lead leg, take a generous step back, open up the back leg to 90, and then windmill your arms open. Tap the wall in front and tap the wall behind. Maybe trying to open up those legs a little bit wider. So wiggle walk the legs away and try to really drop down to the pelvis. Give me long reaching arms. Give me a long reaching crown. Keep belly to spine and try to drop down generously through the pelvis. Watch that you're not dropping that lead leg in. So keep pushing from the inside as if somebody was using a palm to open up that lead leg as you find Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Look for that strength in the legs. We're going to use this Warrior 2 to begin playing with some side angle variants. Start to drop down on the lead arm, maybe placing either elbow on knee or maybe hand to floor. Maybe just starting with the other arm reaching behind you. Then maybe open up into T. Drop down a little bit more through the pelvis if you can. Then think of bringing that top arm closer to your ear. We're almost mimicking the line that we played with when we were in triangle. And then sweep the arm behind you. Now start to trace that circular pattern between all 4 points. Long sweeping motions, keep sinking down through the pelvis. Use the circular trace as your distraction. Stay here with your lazy circles, or maybe you'd like to look for an opportunity to come to a bind, relaxing down through the bottom elbow, tucking between your two thighs, and trying to bring the hands into a little bear grip behind your back. Nodding your head down, almost as if you were taking a little bow to the floor. Really grip through both feet as you find your bound side angle. And then think about how you're going to change this frame to come into a high lunge as low to the floor as you can. Unbind the hands, frame either side of the lead leg, bring your back heel off the floor and just drop down nice and low through the pelvis. Maybe you're pushing off spider fingertips. Maybe you have both arms, or palms rather, firmly placed on the floor. Or maybe you've got a block on either side of the legs and you're using that to support your high frame. Hold your high lunge, Sirsambhusthasana. Stay here in your high lunge, or perhaps look for an opportunity to come into a fallen triangle from here. So you're going to change the setup frame on your lead leg. You're going to step it across the midline, knife edging your foot, and then just trying to make your right hip nice and heavy to the floor and hold here. Pushing strongly off both hands, keeping belly to spine. Keep the toe tucked under position on the back leg. And then think about how you're going to find your way into a side plank from here, anchoring through the leg that's already behind you. So you're going to start to feed the leg that's sweep through. You're going to cross it back, stacking one leg on top of the other, stacking your hips, opening up the left arm to the sky. If you find that the stacked foot position is too much for you, you might elect to keep both feet grounded, maybe knife edging them, or maybe you'd like to bend the bottom knee and extend the top leg and find your side plank from here. So you play with the variant that works for you, pushing strongly away with your anchoring arm. However you decided to stack your body, you're going to find your way from here into a full plank hold. And if you find that the full plank hold is just too much for you today, maybe dropping into 4-point kneeling, keeping your spine nice and long on the mat, and just pushing the mat away. So you play either in 4-point kneeling or in the full plank. If you are in the full plank, remember, don't collapse through the shoulders, push the mat away, long spine, core is working, your legs are working, and you're pushing energy through the heels of your back leg as you find Kumbhakasana plank. We're going to use this plank line to set up a pigeon and we're going to lead with the right leg in front. So start thinking of drawing the right knee in. Angle your foot in. So you've either got knee and ankle in a straight line or maybe heel closer towards the perineum. Relax the lead leg and in the back knee, shin and foot. Slide, walk or creep the back leg away. And then just maybe come onto the tips of your fingers and start to play with your body weight side to side. Think of what's happening between your shoulders. Think of what's happening between your two hip points. Try to find a sense of both shoulders being on an even keel and both hip bones being on an even keel. You're going to just make that right bum nice and heavy, but you're not going to lean and rotate and fall into the right bum. You're going to keep drawing the energy up along the inseam of both legs to keep your balance as you find a high pigeon, Ekapada Rayata Potasana. Sink down nice and low through the pelvis. Alrighty, let's play with that pigeon and let's bring it into a half lord, and we'll play with both frames for a bit. So begin to sit into your right bum bone, swing the back leg around and step the back foot to the outside of your already bent front leg. Ground through the whole foot, and for our first half lord, we're going to twist towards the lead leg. Maybe you're just grabbing hold of the whole thigh and hugging it in towards your chest. Maybe beginning there. Then maybe slowly starting to increase the stretch by hooking your right elbow to the outside of your knee and making a little stop sign with your hand. Keep looking for more rotation through the trunk. So you keep looking towards the back end of your mat. And then maybe intensifying a little bit more by actively pressing through your elbow, but extending the front arm, reaching long with the fingertips for the front of your mat while actively pressing with the back of your elbow and resisting with that lead knee. Then think about how you're going to retrace your path back from half lord to your pigeon line. So sweep the front leg back, realign your hips and your shoulders, wiggle around, maybe dropping lower through the palms this time. And maybe if you sink down nice and low through the pelvis, you're beginning to feel that lead heel digging into your lower abdominal cavity. Maybe you'd like to drop down into the sphinx-like elbow line. Pause here, looking for that delicious stretch, that DELISH stretch on the lead leg. Then walk your way back into an extended arm line. Find your way back into half lord. So starting to sit into the right bum, starting to swing the back leg around. But this time, as you find your stance, you're going to open up the twist and you're going to push the left knee away while you rotate to look over the right shoulder for the back edge of your mat. And just keep spider fingertips on the mat so that you're not leaning all of your weight back. Try to keep a nice long line through the spine, but keep actively pushing that lead leg open as you open up the twist. We're going to find our way from this open twist back into our pigeon one last time. So when you're ready, retrace your path back into pigeon. Maybe you're staying high. Maybe you're dropping down onto the forearms. Or maybe you're looking for an opportunity this time to begin walking the arms out, trying to bring your whole trunk and chest and maybe even head closer to the floor. Maybe taking a little bow here, thinking forehead to floor. Still trying to look for that sense of evenness through the shoulders, through the hips. Keep breathing. Try to breathe nice and deeply into the back and the sides of your ribs. Then, if you were in full extension with the arms on the mat in front of you, walk your way back onto the elbows and then maybe back onto the palms so that the arms are nice, long and lengthened. We're going to set up a mermaid line from here. So you're going to readjust the leg line slightly. You're going to start sitting into your right bum cheek. You're going to bring the right foot closer towards the top end of the mat so that you've got more or less knee and ankle in a straight line. And then you're going to just tuck the back knee in to the arch of your front foot. Wiggle around, readjust, maybe bringing the heel of your back foot in closer towards your bum to even out your body weight distribution. So it feels like you're not leaning all of your weight into your right bum cheek. Wiggle around, maybe just relaxing your hands to the tops of your legs for a moment while you look for that stability in your mermaid frame. Then let's take a little side stretch. So relax your left hand to the floor or maybe just to the top of your left thigh. And you're going to arc and frame with the other arm while making your whole left arm lazy to the floor. So think lazy elbow, lazy shoulder, and you're just going to gently arc and frame with the other arm. Trying to get a nice stretch up the right side of your rib cage. Inhale to peel back to center. Let's do the same to the other side. So starting to make your right arm lazy to the floor. Think soft elbow, soft shoulder, arc and frame with the opposite arm. Come back to a nice high seat and tuck into Sukhasana from here, taking the left leg and bringing it in front of the right. Sit up nice and tall. Big breath in. On an exhale, you're going to fold forward. Maybe fingertips to floor. Maybe palms to floor, maybe forearms to floor, or maybe you'd like to use a block and lean into that block. Just take a nice lazy forward fold. Give yourself a few breaths here. Then sit up nice and tall. Take a big twist to the left, pushing opposite hand to knee, giving me the longest spine that you can, grounding your bum bones. Inhale, come back to center. Exhale to fold forward. Trying to maybe drop a little bit closer to the floor. Keeping belly to spine the whole time and almost pushing your hips and your bum back towards the back edge of the mat. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. Twist in the opposite direction, pushing opposite hand to knee. Giving you the longest spine that you can and a firm grounding through both bum bones. Inhale to peel back to center. Extend the left leg, pushing it away from you and tucking the sole of the right foot to the inseam of the left leg. Think of the midway point between both legs and just folding forward here. So maybe fingertips to floor, maybe palms to floor, maybe forearms to floor. Try to keep your extended leg active, so a nice active brace into the foot. Inhale to peel up, twist towards your extended leg, grabbing opposite hand to thigh, pulling in with your hand, resisting with the leg, while keeping your weight even on both bum bones. Inhale to come back to center, fold it forward. Finding your hand position on the floor that works for you, keeping belly to spine. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. Exhale to twist towards your bent leg, pushing away opposite hand to knee, while looking for that weight on the bum bones to be as even as you can manage. From here, we're going to tuck into a figure four. So untwist your trunk, look towards your legs. Take the sole of the foot that's closest to you and try to tuck into a figure four position here, starting to bend the knee of your extended leg. Place the hands on the floor behind you, maybe fingertips looking away from you. So you're starting with a little bit of distance between your bum and your anchoring heel. Push off your hands, bring your bum closer towards your heel, and then come back to your start position. Give yourself maybe 5 oscillations between the two frames. So stepping your bum away from your heel, and then closer towards your heel. Getting a nice stretch into the arms and the shoulders as well. Maybe end with your bum nice and close to your heels, hold. And then open up into a straddle line from here. Legs nice and wide, folded forward. Fingertips to floor, palms to floor, or forearms to floor. So you're repeating the fold that we've been playing with. Sit up nice and tall, twist to the left, grab opposite hand to thigh, keep your feet active, keep your inner thigh switched on. Fold it forward. Twist in the opposite direction. Opposite hand to thigh. And then untwist your trunk, maybe keeping your hands on the floor behind you and float into a staff pose by bringing the two legs together. Maybe you want to give yourself a little shakeout. Sit up as tall as you can, trying to bring the heels off the floor and hold by drawing up the energy from your kneecaps along the quads, along your lower abs. Hold. Then keep the heels off the floor but begin to extend through the toes. Now relax your feet, heels to floor, but try to maintain that high seat and circle the arms overhead on a nice big inhale. Exhale to come down in active prayer. Keeping your feet softly braced, you're going to do that twice more. Big breath in as you circle the hands. Exhale to come down. One more, and then we're going to retrace our path through that whole sequence, working on side two. Think about how you're going to find your way to 4-point kneeling from here. Maybe placing your hands on the floor, sweeping the legs underneath you, and finding your way into a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. You're going to start to run through Shakabhakasana, cat-cow. So inhale to prepare. Exhale to hollow out. Start to find the breath pattern that works for you. So maybe that's 1 to 2, maybe that's 1 to 1, you playing where you're comfortable. Start to connect body and breath. You're going to end in a neutral line, somewhere between your cat and your cow. You're going to push back into child, keeping your first set nice soft feet. As you push back, so you're pushing bum to heel, you're actively pressing off your palms. Then think 4-point kneeling, tuck your toes under, come onto the tips of your fingers as you push back bum to heel, a little bit of a toe breaker stretch. Then begin to move dynamically between the two frames. So soft feet, soft palms as you push back bum to heel. Then tuck your toes under, come onto the tips of your fingers as you push back again. Give yourself at least 3 to 4 oscillations between the two frames. You're going to end in the toe tuck under position. Keep the toe tucked under as you come back to 4-point kneeling on the mat. Look for that long line through the spine. Make sure you're pulling the belly into center. You're going to extend, let's do left leg behind us this time. Oh no, sorry, right leg behind. I'm a bit challenged today. You're going to actively press the wall away. Try to keep it at shoulder height. Then float the left palm out and think of pushing the wall away. So you've got an active brace into both the hand and the foot. Then soften the fingertips and the toes of your extended limbs. Come back into brace and find your way back into 4-point kneeling, finding your way into a down dog. And then beginning to move between a knee tap, a table knee tap, and a down dog. Just find a little rhythm of your own, giving yourself, once again, a few oscillations between the two frames, and allowing enough of an opportunity for the back chain of your legs to just gently open up, maybe progressively bringing those heels closer to the floor as you play. Maybe ending in the down dog and holding your pike-like position, bum nice and high, belly button pulled into center, anchoring through both feet as best you can. Think about how you're going to transition from this down dog into a warrior 1, leading with your left leg in front. Soften the left knee, step it up. Keep your back leg angled in slightly at 45 as you start to come up through the trunk, extending the arms overhead so it feels like you're framing your ears. Really anchor through that back heel so it feels like the whole back foot, even though it's angled in at 45, the whole foot is firmly planted into the mat. Maybe starting to wiggle, walk your lead legs slightly away from you so that you can get more drop down, more opening through the pelvis. Strong through both of those delicious legs. And then think about how you're going to find your way into a warrior three, sweep back through the arms. So you're going to start transferring the weight from the back leg to the front as you drop the arms. You can use a little tap off the back foot to push off if you need to. Start to come into a tabletop line with your body, and you're keeping long arms reaching back today, almost in a Titanic-like fashion. Squaring up through the shoulders and the hips as best you can. And find your way into a fisted tree line from here. So start to stand up nice and tall. Bend your right knee. Place the sole of the foot on the inseam of your left leg. Then keep it low. Either big toe on the floor or maybe just a little bit higher up with maybe the whole sole of the foot just below the knee line. Fist the hands. Make your knuckles nice and heavy to the floor. Look for that delicious stretch into the lower abdomen as you still your tree. Vrksasana. Think of bringing those two shoulder blades together, open up generously through the chest. Then think about how you're going to find your way from this tree frame into an open triangle. So you're going to think of that warrior one-like stance, stepping your right leg back, angling in at 45 and starting to drop your lead arm down to the inseam of the lead leg. Maybe opening up the arms into the T-frame once you've found the frame that works for you and the hand position that works for you. Open up generously, almost trying to get a little bit of rotation on the hips so it feels like you're stacking the right hip on top of the left. Then bring the top arm closer to your ear, look for that delicious stretch. Then trace half a circle with the hand and reach for the wall behind you. Then begin to move dynamically between those 3 points as you start to trace a beautiful lazy circle with the top arm. The whole time, keeping the rest of your frame steady. So keep drawing up the energy from the knees along the quads of both legs. Stay here with your lazy circle or start to rotate through the trunk, twisting and trying to find purchase on the outside of your lead leg. So maybe hands to floor, maybe fingertips to floor, maybe you're holding onto your shin, or maybe you're even holding up higher along the chain of the leg, or maybe you've got a block placed on the outside of that lead leg. Rotate your triangle. Stay here in Parivrtta Trikonasana, or rotate a triangle, or find your way into a twisted half moon. Maybe softening the lead leg, placing your hands on the floor, and then kicking off as you did in your warrior three-like stance, and trying to maybe forge a somewhat T-like frame on the arms. Parivrtta Ardha Chandrasana. You're going to find a warrior two stance from here. So bend the lead leg, take a generous step back and open up that back foot to 90. You're going to windmill the arms open, tap the wall behind you, tap the wall in front. Try to wiggle walk your legs away and drop down a little bit lower through the pelvis as you settle in. Stay here or maybe drop down, elbow to thigh or elbow to floor. Open up the arms into the T-like frame. Then maybe find position 2, bringing that top arm closer to your ear, mimicking what we did in the triangle. Then maybe sweeping the arm behind you before you start to move between those points, tracing a big lazy circle with your arm. The whole time reaching long through the fingertips of your working floating arm and trying to drop down nice and low through the pelvis. Stay here, or maybe you'd like to look for an opportunity to come to a bind by softening your bottom arm, feeding the arm through the legs, and then come into a bear grip bind behind your back. Wherever you are, think of taking a little bow here with your head, trying to drop nice and low through the pelvis. Keep anchoring through that back foot and keep pulling belly to spine. Then start to rotate your trunk, placing both hands on the floor. Bring the back heel off the floor and just sink down into a lunge line, trying to drop nice and low through the pelvis. Maybe you're on the tips of your fingers or maybe you're using flat palms to push the mat away. Think about how you're going to use this high lunge to come into fallen triangle. So you're going to take the lead leg, you're going to step it across the midline, knife edging the foot, and making the left hip heavy to the floor without sinking through the shoulders. So you're still pushing the mat away with both hands. Then think about how you're going to use this frame to come into a side plank, and you're going to anchor through that leg that's already extended behind you. So start to retrace your fallen triangle, start to rotate through the trunk, stacking one leg on top of the other, or maybe knife edging and grounding both feet, or maybe bending the bottom leg and extending the top. So you play with the side angle, the side plank that works for you. Ease your way back into a plank. Body nice and strong, pushing the mat away, core working, legs working. Then set up a pigeon line from here, leading with the left leg. So find position 1 on your lead leg, relax the back, knee, shin, and foot. Wiggle, walk the leg away, and then start to wiggle your body weight side to side as you settle into a nice high pigeon. Maybe starting on the tips of your fingers, and as the pelvis starts to relax into the stretch, maybe dropping down onto the palms of your hands. Pausing here, looking for that sense of evenness through the shoulders and the hips. So take a moment to check your alignment. Then find a half Lord seat from here by sitting your left bum bone into the mat, swinging the back leg around to anchor to the outside of the lead knee. Twist towards your lead leg, maybe starting by just hugging that whole knee in towards your thigh while trying to ground through both of your bum bones. If this feels good, maybe give me an elbow stop sign position on the left hand. Keep those bum bones firmly grounded. And then maybe extending that arm line of the lead hand. Lead your way from here back into a pigeon. So retrace your path back to pigeon. Square up through the shoulders and the hips. Maybe staying on the fingers, maybe coming back to the palms, or maybe looking for an opportunity to drop down into a sphinx-like elbow position, not collapsing. So really growing almost the shoulders and the back of your ribs towards the sky, but still looking for that sense of evening out the weight on both sides of your spine so that you equal through the shoulders, equal through the hips. Ease your way from here back into half Lord. This time we're going to open up the twist, so you're going to push the lead knee away with the closest hand. And you're going to look over the back shoulder towards the back edge of the mat, still firmly grounding that front foot into the floor. Ease your way into pigeon one last time. Finding a high line or an elbow line, or maybe this time looking for an opportunity to bring your whole chest line closer to the floor by walking the arms out, maybe dropping third eye to floor, forehead to floor. Look for that sense of evenness through the shoulders and the hips. Close your eyes, connect to your inner gyroscope. Find that balance, always looking for that balance. From here, you're going to find your way into a mermaid. So come back into your high pigeon, sit down into the right bum bone, readjust your front foot, and then feed the back knee in to the instep of the lead leg. Wiggle around. So you can bring that back heel closer towards your bum if you can, and look for that stability through the shoulders and the hips. You're going to start making your right arm lazy to the floor. So think heavy elbow, heavy shoulder, and then arc and frame on the left. Opening up generously through the left side of your ribs. Inhale to peel back to center. Let's rinse and repeat on side 2. So start to make the left arm heavy to the floor. Arc and frame with the other arm. Open up generously through the right side of your ribs, keeping belly to spine the whole time that you play. Come back to center and find your way into easy sit, leading with the right leg in front of the left as you find Sukhasana. Bring it straight into the forward fold of your choice, maybe fingertips, maybe palms or forearms. So every time you find the forward fold here, you're going to play with the arm line and you're going to fold as close to the floor as you can. Big inhale to sit up nice and tall. Twist towards your lead leg, pushing opposite hand to knee while keeping your bum bones equally weighted. And using the fingertips of your other hand to just prop your frame up nice and tall. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to find the fold that works for you. Give yourself a few moments here, just breathing nice and deeply into the back of your ribs, pushing back through your hips so that you can feel that DELISH stretch into the lead leg. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. Twist away from your lead leg, pushing opposite hand to knee. Keep your bum bones equally weighted so you're not leaning with your whole body weight off the center line. You're trying to stay as centered as you can while rotating through the trunk. So it's a controlled rotation. Inhale to come back to center. Extend the left leg, extend the right leg, my bad. Placing the sole of the left foot on the inseam of the right leg. Look for that midway point between both legs and then fold it forward. Maybe hands to floor, palms to floor, or forearms to floor. Keep the foot of your extended leg active, so no losing control. Keep that brace so that the inseam and the foot and the whole leg stays working. We want nicely toned, shapely legs. Peel back to center. Twist towards your extended leg. Grab opposite hand to thigh. Look for that weight distribution through the trunk and the bum bones. Inhale to come back to center, fold it forward. Breathe nice and deeply into the back of your ribs, but keep your belly button softly pulled into center. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. Exhale to twist, push opposite hand to knee. Look for that weight distribution on both sides of the spine. Untwist your trunk and look down towards your legs. Think about how you're going to make a figure 4 frame from here. So take the right foot, try to bring or rest the ankle on your left thigh. Place hands on the floor behind you. Start to bend your extended leg and then start to play. Bum towards your heels, bum away from your heels. So just give yourself a few moments and you're going to feel a nice DELISH opening into the chest and the shoulders as well. So not just playing with the pelvis and playing with the leg line stretch, but also working into the upper chain of the body. Maybe end in a seat with your bum close to your heel and pause here for a few moments, trying to make the left knee heavy away from you. And then open up from here into a straddle line. So legs nice and wide on the mat. Fold it forward. Find the forward fold that works for you. Breathe nice and deeply into the back of your ribs. Keep your feet active. So feet are braced, toes are looking up to the sky. Inner thighs are working. Belly is pulled into spine. Then inhale to sit up nice and tall. Let's twist to the right, grabbing opposite hand to thigh. Pulling in with your hand and resisting with the outside of your thigh while maintaining your grounded high seat. Inhale to come back to the middle. Exhale to fold it forward. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. Exhale to twist opposite hand to thigh. Almost done. And twist, fold it forward one last time. From here, when you're ready, you're going to set yourself up for your little staff seat, and that's where we're going to end today's practice today. So sit up nice and tall. Maybe placing the hands on the mat behind you as you draw the two legs close together. Maybe resting your fingertips on the floor. Start to bring your heels up off the floor by drawing up along the quad. Hold that line. Keep the heels floating off the floor and see if you can reach long through the toes. So you're stretching the whole front of your legs. Then keep your high seat Relax the heels back to the floor, but keep your feet and your toes active. Big breath in as you circle the hands overhead, filling up your lungs to capacity, and then exhaling as you push down through the palms. Feel your arms, chest, upper back. Keep that nice high seat. Let's do that at least twice more. Maybe closing the eyes, taking your focus in, and making this big sweeping movement, almost a soft meditation to end off today's practice. On your last round, really looking for that connection with body and breath as you bring the hands down in prayer mudra, ending in front of your heart chakra, your anahata chakra, and ending off today's practice with a little nod on the words namaste. Thank you so much for coming out and joining me today. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time, keep it light.